We had this idea that men are supposed to hush it up, girl. We doing this tonight. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
nah, hush it up. Are you in the 80s?
I just watched.
Hush it up, girl.
I just watched Hollywood Shuffle, y'all. Forgive me.
The references.
But in real life,
look at me, Job Turkey. Like, what are you watching, bro?
Good.
But if you didn't know Zar and you just met her, you would think she was born in the 70s.
I know. I love
all her references. You'd be like, what are you talking about? And then she'll be like, you ain't watched that movie? And you'd be like, no, I was 5.
Hey, my loves. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am Intisar Eleanor, and this is my husband, Joseph. Hey. And we are back, and we're talking all things Married at First Sight, season 16. So we had a lot going on last week, which is why we didn't film last week. Joe and I went to the NAACP Awards, and it was a really good time. It was good to be inspired and around so much Black excellence. What did you take from it, Joe?
I think it was just that my biggest thing was it was just like an inspiration to be there, and first it was an honor to be invited, so shout out to the BET homies, and then also it was just good to be around such I like that it was intimate, so it was good to be in an intimate space around such good vibes and good people. It was cold as hell, it was rainy, and it was one bar in the building, and the vibe was still great. Like everybody, even though there was plenty to gripe about, everybody was still super nice and super high vibration. So that was like a really cool part of it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It was a good time. So yeah, so that's the reason why we really couldn't film last week. So we're sorry. Last week was the start of a really good episode, and it kind of took us into this week. And we're on episode, I believe now we're on episode 7. I think we missed we're on episode 8. We missed episode 7. Yeah. And we open up, and Pastor Kyle is really still speaking with, what is her name? Dominique and Mac. I am so glad that I feel like this was the first time when we're watching Dominique and Mac sit down with Pastor Kyle, that Pastor Kyle is kind of like giving us the real. Like, he asked her straight up, like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you feel? Are you just tired of this? I'm just tired of this. He's like, are you tired of the conversation, or are you tired of like the marriage? Like, say what you mean and mean what you say, because you're supposed to be the adult
in the room.
Right. So you say, you know what I mean? And it is so weird to me, this campaign she is on to make Mac look bad.
Well, you know what?
It's weird.
It is very weird, but it's familiar because we saw this last season with Alyssa. It was like, it's almost like scripted, the same type of the way it was played out, down to her own personal PR campaign of I'm a good person, right? And she did it in the after party. She's on the after party just crying and playing the victim, and it's obviously working in that room because everybody on the after party is like, I'm so sorry. Nicole was on the after party. She's apologizing for
I'm
nothing.
so tired of Nicole too. She's really becoming somebody I find like just, what's the word that I want to use? I feel like Nicole needs to be the center of attention.
Yeah,
she needs to be in control. And not that I don't think if we were going to put it in words like alpha, beta, woman, I don't think I'm an alpha female. Like, I do kind of like play the background even with my friends, but I would have to curse Nicole the hell out. Yeah, she getting on my goddamn nerves.
She's sometimes she a hard pill to swallow, man. And I worry about that Chris guy. I mean, worry about him a lot.
A lot. But let's go back to Dominique and Mac, because I really want to dig on in here. So she proceeds to let us know that she's tired of the conversation. She's tired of this. She's tired of that. Pastor Kyle said, do you want a divorce? Like, you have to tell us what it is that you want here. Yeah. And she says yes. And Pastor Kyle, to this woman's face, said, I guess 25 is a little too young for this.
Yeah.
And it was orgasmic, because I kind of felt like sometimes I be feeling like we getting played for a fool.
Yeah.
Watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I love watching Married at First Sight. I love watching people fall in love. I love it. I love it. I love it. But we want it to be good.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was a moment where, as a viewer, we're sitting there like, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And somebody else recognized it.
And we've been waiting for somebody on screen to express even an ounce of what most of us have been feeling while watching Dominique and Mac go through their drama. And I'm just glad that Pastor Kyle was there to give a little bit of that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I do feel like he could have went harder.
He could have called her a funky dog.
Well, that part too. But I do.
But
feel
he
like,
a better man.
I do feel like he could have went a little bit harder, because she pours it on. She pours it on in the sense of being a victim. She pours it on in the sense of being immature. The temper tantrums that she throws, she pours that on. And so I do wish she could have went a little bit harder. But he did give us a little bit of relief, and just even when he told her, like, when you might walk away from here, but take a long time before you get into another relationship,
because you are childish.
Yeah,
you are about that BS. And you know, he said something that I thought was so poignant, because he said it takes strength and grit and all these other things in order to be in a marriage. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
All these characteristics she does not have.
Yeah.
And I mean this like, you know, if her arms wasn't so big, maybe I'd say this to her face, but you know, she got big old like potato salad making arms, and I don't know if I could stand, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't beat a bitch ass in a while. So I don't know if I can hang if I'm keeping it 100. But I do know that I would say that's her face. I think that you are childish. It is so creepy to me how you got on here and then you're like spinning this story as if we don't know. Like, you're gaslighting everybody.
Yeah.
As if we don't see it. And it's even more upsetting to me because she's a black woman. So I'm kind of like, why you? Like, you know what I mean? It could have been anybody else. But not only that, and you're 25. You should have never been a part of this. And I'm really pissed about the producers, because the truth of the matter is, this is not somebody. The truth of the matter is, you could tell Pastor Kyle ain't picked.
Oh, yeah, you could tell. You could tell.
Because he wouldn't have said, that was a dig for everybody.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have said, I guess 25 too young.
Yeah, that was his jab when, you know, going back to their whatever argument they had in the room at the conference table.
Yep.
Because you could tell, and I'm part of me really wants to lay this at the feet of production and whatever other experts was involved in this, because at the end of the day, Dominique didn't pick herself. It's no reason why she should have been on this show.
And what's sad is that the more we watch Mac, even in a place of duress, the more I realize he could be here.
Oh, 1,000%. He was wet. He was ready and willing to put up with this BS for the remainder of the 8 weeks.
He was.
If she was just going to be like, all right, like, I'm going to put up with this and all. Even though she tried to get into the after party and act like he was the one who asked for the divorce.
It is so, but then they're like, oh, if we had that knowledge, then we would have agreed with you in the moment.
Well, we know.
First of all, y'all must be afraid of her ham hock arms too, because, and I told myself I wasn't going to do that.
The truth of the matter is, they did this. We had the incident with the ginger word, right? They did the same thing where she's on the after party and all of a sudden everybody starts kowtowing. Yeah, it's corny to me, because I feel like if y'all can't be in the room and really tell how y'all feel and give y'all opinions about another person that's in the room, they shouldn't be booked for the after party. Because it's not supposed to just be a kumbaya moment every time 3 people sit down and talk about what happened in the episode. And that's what it ends up being.
But then she all like, oh, I just had a gut feeling. My intuition was telling me. Intuition was telling you what? he trafficking humans.
Yeah.
What is he doing, sis? Like, it's just like the lies. Like, I cannot, for real. Like, I just feel like, girl, like, you know what I mean? Get over yourself.
Please.
You lied to your mother's mammy tatting face. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what I hope she do? I hope she take her belt off.
Well, she ain't, cuz
it's very clear she's not.
She is.
You could tell by the way, which I respected her for that, the mom, because I felt like she was giving her room. Like, okay, tell me how you feel. I don't want to step over you. This is your story kind of thing. But I know the mom was thinking, you is so dumb.
I thought the mom ain't really give it to her how she should have gave it to her. Because to your point, you said something a while ago, as a relative, you know how your especially your daughter as a mother, forget a relative, you know how your daughter moves in this world and in the streets. You've probably they seem like they're the mother and daughter relationship who have had enough conversation about relationships and stuff like that, where she can kind of see what's happening when she's describing these things.
Yes.
And this can't be the first time that something like this has happened, where she's thrown this temper tantrum, and someone needs to say, well, did you give it a chance?
But she probably quit baseball. She quit basketball.
Yeah.
She quit bar.
Yeah.
She quit jazz dance. Okay.
But not only that, you knew she wasn't ready.
Clarinet.
You knew she wasn't ready to do this in the first place. And that's the L that the mom got a hold. You knew that you shouldn't have signed her up for this in the first place. She still going out and bar hopping and having one night stands with
and letting people suck shots out her titty.
Yeah,
and to be clear, I don't think it's anything wrong with that if you living your life and doing your thing. I'm just saying there comes a time.
Don't show up to get married at first sight. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do that. Go out.
But the moment she did it on TV, I already knew what it was.
Yeah.
Because you ain't even had a common sense of mind to be like, he might watch this back.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And not to say that these guys gave it in, but it just was. It's just weird to me. She's just an odd bird. But I want to talk about another odd bird or an odd situation. And that is Fallon. Felina?
Mm-hmm. The cousin.
First of all, Fallon is a much better word. A name.
Yeah. And
Felina, I think you find this out. So I'm not saying it from a space of like, I'm just saying she could have been a Fallon. I'm just saying. No, for real. Yo, this how my brain be working. Do y'all find that situation a little eerie?
Yeah.
It's a little odd to me.
I mean, we talked about this very early on. It's weird, but it's not weird. Because, again, this isn't the first time that we've seen a relative of the opposite sex have these stronghold opinions on somebody that's dating their relative. Good or bad.
I think she has too much of an opinion.
Yeah. Oh, that's 100%.
Like, I'm genuinely trying to see how she feels like she fits in this narrative.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like...
Where do she think she fit in? Like, it almost feels very Game of Thrones.
Oh, incestuous?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's giving a little bit of Jamie Lannister.
No.
And a little bit of Cersei here. No, okay?
Seriously.
And I mean that with all due respect.
It does. It's weird. It's weird. Like, it's the whole, like we said, this ain't the first time that somebody's met, a date, a partner of somebody's relative, cousin, brother, sister, whatever, and just didn't like them for no reason. It's not. But
how many girls has he dated that you probably done smiled up in their faces or whatever the case may be?
I don't know. It's not the first time that it's happened, but what's the weird part about it is how like adamant she is that she's fake, and you only been around her one time. How do you know that she's fake?
How could you even?
You've been around her for like an hour.
To her, like, and my only thing is, and this is a little odd for me with what's her name, Jasmine, right?
Yeah.
Didn't she seem like she had a little bit more heart talking to him about the situation?
1,000%.
Because I would have just gave it to her.
When it was happening,
just slapped me in the mouth.
Yeah, when it was happening to her face, she did not have that energy. Because
I'm like, and not to say that she didn't respond in tow. We know she's a lady and she's classy. We know all that, Jasmine. But I was kind of like, I would have had the same kind of energy. Like, listen, you telling me, well, my responses are calculated. Who am I calculating them for?
Right.
Like, who are y'all? I don't even know you. And I don't.
And
why
you don't know her to even say something like that.
You don't even know what calculated looks like for me.
You don't. You just met this person. She said that like when the first day she met her.
The very first time she met her.
Yeah, so it's weird. And it's clear that it really has nothing to do with Jasmine. That's the part. It really has nothing to do with Jasmine. She was against this process from the very beginning. She was against him being a part of this process before she even knew who he was paired with. So the solace that Jasmine can take is this really has nothing to do with me. She would have hated whoever he was paired with. And so that just goes back to whatever. Oh yeah, 1,000%. Because she was showing her hatred before he ever walked down the aisle.
I agree. But then how do you feel about her saying, Jasmine, that she didn't want Felina? I kind of like Felina too. But she didn't want Felina at the house.
I was proud of her because I felt like she really didn't, like we said, she really didn't give back the energy that we thought she was going to give when the girl was in her face calling her fake and all this other stuff at the table with the cameras and everybody around. She really just kind of shrunk back into herself. And I thought I would have wanted her to stand up for herself a little more. But 1,000%, we talk about this all the time, protecting the energy in your household, right?
Yes.
And in your marriage and in your partnership, like you really don't want nobody around that's making your spouse or that's making you uncomfortable. It's no time for them. It's really a quick conversation. I don't like that mother or whatever. You know what I mean? And then that's it. So I'm glad that she stood up for herself and just was like, yeah, like, no, she can't. This is my house. Like, if you don't like me, don't come to my house.
And it's just that on that. And the truth of the matter is, I be kind of feeling like, I feel like Felina feels a bit threatened.
Yes. That's what I thought from the beginning.
I don't know what he provides to Felina. Like, I don't know what kind of support, what I mean. Like, you know, the emotional support that he may provide to her.
Or financial. He could be paying her bills and she threatened by that.
Or that.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? But it is so fascinating to me that they're even going through this. Girl, Felina, to me, is too motherfucking fine to be even be treating people like this. It's very ugly.
It's definitely. I think
you don't even know this young lady.
I know, and I think it's definitely something rooted in her feeling threatened and her feeling like her place in his life is threatened. Because, like I said, this don't got nothing to do with Jasmine. She would have hated whoever it was. She was being a hater before the wedding day. Like a loud hater, you know what I mean? So this just goes back to her and what we talked about in the first couple videos about this just having more to do with their relationship and her feeling like their relationship and whatever benefits were coming from it was in jeopardy.
Right. But is it me? Now, is it me, or do y'all think Eris is a little instigating?
Why you say that?
So he knew that his wife didn't want Felina at the housewarming, and he invited her anyway.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I think he also knew deep down that Felina was going to say, "I'm not coming."
Yeah, that was weird. I was kind of confused as the order of events when that stuff went down.
Yeah,
because after he asked for his cousin if she wanted to come. Then he goes home. They talk about it again. And then he tells Jasmine that, she didn't want to come. I invited her and she didn't want to come. I was confused at why he would even bring it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I knew you didn't want somebody around and I knew they didn't want to be around you, I would never come home and be like, well, so-and-so don't like you.
And you better come home and say whether or not they like me or not. So
no, but I'm saying like it is weird. Like I wouldn't come home and just tell you like, well, so and so don't like you. Like what? But
if I asked you, would you tell me?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
if you asked me like, how would so and so feel about me? I would definitely be honest about it. But if you made it clear that you didn't want them around,
yeah, I wouldn't. We wouldn't even have to.
I wouldn't come and tell you. Well, she said fuck you anyway. You know what I mean? Because that's basically what he said. Like he basically
and you basically better be one. That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah. She didn't want to come anyway. And it's like, why are we even talking? I remember I said it in the moment when he was watching. I said, why would he bring this up?
Cause he a little sassy, and I don't like it.
But then again, I be feeling like the producers love to thrive off of drama, just like when they get them in a group and they ask them, oh, somebody asked who had sex, and it's like, we know who had sex, we know who didn't have sex. Like this is what there was a comment on, I think it was Twitter or somebody who said, I'm a fan of the show, but I just feel like at this point it's so overproduced. This is what they're talking about. Because I think they do overproduce.
Too overproduce. Like, if you're not going to get me to believe that Jasmine wanted to have the conversation about her and Eris not having sex with his friends.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't believe that young woman would have bought that up on her own.
No. To two men. Wasn't it just two?
It was two men. I don't believe that she would have bought it. Because high key, they're going to be in a group chat talking about you like you're a weirdo.
Oh, for sure.
That's number one.
1,000%.
But it's like, I also think that Jasmine is better than that. I genuinely don't think she would ask a question like that. You know, and I don't even know the young lady, but something in her spirit doesn't give me.
But not only that, we see all of these friend groups come over and they all ask, the first thing is, oh, so did y'all have sex?
Yeah.
That's not real. That's overproduced. Like, somebody obviously asked them. And it's not a coincidence that all of the friend groups asked.
It's not a coincidence.
You know what I mean? So that's what they mean by us being overproduced. Like, we don't need to do that. Let these conversations happen organically. You know, it's a random conversation in my house. I don't know about somebody else's house. Is purely entertaining enough without somebody asking us if we having sex or not.
But that's the thing, and that's the pressure that they're talking about. When they are talking about these people who are going through like this process, and they're talking about how hard it is for them to get a connection and everything, this is the pressure that they are experiencing. And that's what is so annoying, because they already got to be in a space with a person they don't know. Right. And y'all going to feed me lines.
Right. Yeah. And my friends' lines.
Yeah.
These
like
prompted questions
come
and all
on.
that.
I just can't. So I did want to talk about also, I got like little notes here, guys. Clint speaking to his best friend. Mm-hmm. Clint spoke to his best friend and talking about the pressure. That's where I got it from, because I thought this is such a good way to put this. He was talking about how Clint and Gina right now may not have like this physical attraction. He said, but what we fail to realize is that a lot of interactions before you even get married, you may be having interactions with this person that's purely just being in each other's spaces, not even knowing that you're attracted to that person.
Right.
It hasn't even been sparked yet. So now you guys are in this vacuum, putting all this. It's like you're impotent. Like, you putting all this pressure on yourself to perform.
Yeah.
And now you can't. You know what I mean? You get anxiety. And that's what I see them going through, Gina and Clint.
Yeah, I just need Gina to also stop with the PR campaign.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of her talking about the salon again. Still, I'm tired of, like, I feel like if she would actually show up and give this a chance,
it better be Vidal Sassoon. It just better be Vidal Sassoon.
but I know that, and he spoke to his friend about being tired of hearing about the salon and all of this other stuff. Like, I feel like if she just showed up and tried to give it a chance, then they would be much better off at this point in the show.
I agree. But let me tell y'all my theory. Okay, so this is my theory about Gina. Gina wanted the divorce so early on, or wanted to be live apart and everything so early on, because the producer said you cannot say the name of your salon.
And she was done.
I genuinely believe that. I believe she thought that this could be free promotion. Yes. She could get a little check. Maybe she meets somebody. Like, that was the third thing.
Yeah.
The meeting somebody. Once she realized, oh, I can't say the name, because you're not gonna get me to believe she wouldn't have said the name 1,000 times.
She would have. It'd have been like that movie we watched where everything was a DC or Marvel commercial in the movie. Like, yeah, like, come on. Oh, was it Space Jam? Everything was Space Jam, wasn't it?
Space Jam. It was Warner Brothers. They said Warner Brothers.
Everything was a Warner Brothers advertisement. Like,
Romaine, my girlfriend Romaine, I said, oh, we're going to do a drinking game every time they say Warner Brothers. And she had saw it before. She said, don't do it. Yeah. You're going to get it. You're going to die.
That's how, yeah, she definitely would have did that. But I think that my biggest thing too with her is her constantly projecting her issues onto him. She sits in front of Pastor Kyle and says, well, this is our issue. Mm-hmm. We have, no, you have an attraction issue. Mm-hmm. This is your issue. oh, well, we thought it was best for us to, stay in separate apartments. No, you wanted to stay in a separate apartment.
Right.
And this is Gina, her representative, constantly showing up and her not being real and being honest about what her issue is and how she feels, and then throwing it on him and making it a joint like that. I'm tired of watching it. And that's another interaction where I would have wanted Pastor Kyle to go a lot bit harder, if I'm being honest.
But y'all trying to tell me y'all could meet somebody. They could be nice. They could be successful. They could respect your boundaries. They could own a boat. Okay? And just the fact that you didn't find them.
Yes, this happens all the time.
It is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It is so fascinating to me.
It happens all the time.
He is literally all these things. Yeah, he talk a little too much. He like to hear himself. He got a little ego thing going on. But what man don't? You know what I mean? And what person doesn't have their thing? It's just so fascinating to me that the only thing you could say that bothers you about him, you wouldn't move into an apartment just simply based on his looks.
But this is what I was talking about when we talked about this a while ago. For me, my point of feeling like attraction has to be there was because this, to me, this is more common than not. Like I think more people than not assign all of these issues and problems, and they create issues out
all because the person not good looking.
Yes, and that's why you
are absolutely correct.
I think it's my faith in humanity that brought me to that point of like, y'all can't have y'all don't have relationships. Y'all won't have them because y'all can't see the forest through the trees, and you create a lot of BS when you're simply, even if it's and I will give it to you that for some people it's unconscious. They're not trying to do this or trying to be malicious, but they can't help but to be like, I don't like the way they chew. Just because they don't think they're cute.
I'm worried about us, y'all. As a species, we are done for, okay? We are done. Let the bees find out they can use their thumbs, okay? We're done, all right? And I really do believe that. So, but Clint and Gina have their housewarming. I'm glad Pastor Kyle said, this ain't going to work if y'all move in with each other. You got to make a decision. Yeah. And Gina went on through with it and slept in the other room. So extra, so dramatic.
She's still doing it.
I cannot, but...
Why?
The drama.
Like, why?
I also think, and this is just like me having conversations with some people married, some people are not. Some of y'all really just like drama.
Oh, I believe that. I listen, we got some close personal friends who we believe that about. We just see, like, you just almost feel like you need it to thrive.
It is so odd to me.
Or you need it to feel normal.
It's just drama.
Yeah.
Nobody but you signed up to be married at first sight.
Right.
Like, it's almost like they forget.
Yeah. They walk into this thinking there's no possibility that I could not be attracted to this person.
Or we could not have differences or what. What's weird to me, this is how cognitive dissonance works. You would sign up to be married at first sight, but then be mad about how the person
right. Yeah.
You literally like signed up not to know what they look like.
You asked for this. And then people will see somebody's physical attributes and look the experts dead in their face and be like, well, you didn't give me what I asked for. And they're like, wait a minute. I thought you said you wanted them to be independent. Are they independent? Yeah. I thought you said you wanted them to be funny. Yeah. They could go down the list because we've seen Pastor Kyle do it and be like, they're literally everything you asked for. You just don't like that their hair is red.
It's terrible.
We've seen it happen on the show. It's wild.
It feels racial. And that's it. And that's all. So I wanted to talk about, Chris and Nicole have consummated their marriage. Thank God, because they both needed to take a load off so they could stop stressing us the hell out.
Well, they didn't stop. They didn't even stop stressing. So did it help?
So Nicole is obviously a self-saboteur. And it is scary.
100%.
I've never seen people unravel good things. Talking about drama. Damn, I segued and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
She's literally in something that she can grow and cultivate. They haven't had an issue and all she's thinking about
is having issues.
It's so odd. It is so odd.
But a lot of y'all do this. I mean, I've literally known people to start arguments because there was no arguments.
Which is weird.
I've just seen this happen, and I feel like, again, in a lot of situations, it's unconscious. You could tell she was just having a stream of consciousness talking to her friend. Like, well, you know what? I'm just worried about like everything going wrong. I'm going to see how it goes wrong because I might be the one to make this wrong, or he might be.
She probably a Virgo,
she
y'all.
Like, girl, shut up. Like, are you happy?
Are you
She
happy?
like, yeah.
But do you feel like he being disingenuous? He tells me I'm beautiful all the time. Do you feel like he's being disingenuous?
She's like searching for the problems. And that's the thing, man. If you look for it, you're going to find it.
That is not... So let me tell you about this TikTok I saw today. So I'm watching this girl tell this story about how she was looking... She had a feeling that her man was cheating, right? She with this guy. She had a feeling he was cheating. She goes in his phone. She looks through his phone. Can't find any messages from anybody. Okay? So she's like, okay, it's no messages, but I still feel like something ain't right. Then she goes to she was like, I'm going to go to the group chat. Goes to the group chat, goes to his group chat. Him and his friend, not him and his friends. His friends sending back and forth pictures of women laying on the bed naked, whatever the case may be. Not her business. But she like, it's so weird to me that he not sending any pictures. Let me check the deleted photos. In the deleted photos, she found something. Imagine the energy that it took for you to get to that place.
Because you wanted it. You wanted to find something.
And you got it. God bless. It just was the weirdest thing. And I'm not saying that he wrong for doing da-da-da-da. I'm not saying none of that. Or he right or whatever. All I'm saying is y'all really be looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Your intuition shouldn't take you on no deep dive like that. Because if it does, you should have been left.
Right. Right.
You should have been. It's no world where I'm going to be going through getting and compiling all this information. Even if, like, the moment you feel it, if that's your intuition telling you something, then go ahead and get on. Because you got to be going crazy to be at a place where you would do some shit like that.
Yeah,
and
and a lot of times it's you just it goes back to what we were talking about, Nicole, and you leaning into yourself, saboteur self.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's really a lot of that because
his deleted photos.
And even if it is women in his deleted photos, how you know that he's actually in contact or having sex or even know any of these women? You know what I mean?
Somebody sent me
one of my homies sent me a naked picture of a woman, and you click on it, and it's a giant penis. Like this is how men prank each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, mind your business. You understand what
I said? Don't give him a story though.
But the point of the matter is you're looking for, even if you thought, when you're looking for something, you're gonna find it regardless of if it's there or not. That's my point, right?
You're going to create it.
You're going to create it, right? Because you could have seen that picture and thought, oh, this is what I was looking, and little do you know, I'm getting pranked by somebody. You know what I mean? So it's like,
even if like, but that's how you know you're not in a good space, right? Because I can see a naked picture right now, and I don't think it would give me the same kind of feeling
at all.
I would be like, because I get it. Like I have a group chat. You know what I mean? People. There's got to be a space where you can exist outside of me. Yeah. And not to say like...
And everything don't got to be tied to somebody
screwing somebody
in the background. Yes. Yeah. Like,
yes.
But if it is, it's because that's what you're looking for. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's this self-saboteur thing. And I just feel like Nicole has really got to release that, because they really don't have a future if that's where she's going to live. Especially now where they haven't been through anything.
Right.
They are supposed to be in the honeymoon phase. She thinks he's great. He think they're on the up and up with no like drama or any past issues to pull from, and you're already in this space. Yeah. So it's like, if this is where you are in the very beginning, you're definitely gonna fail.
Oh, she's a Libra. God bless. He a Libra too. But I do think, I don't know, I feel like she had this conversation. I think it's a really good conversation. It's around, they talked about being a pushover, like not wanting to be a pushover. Like that's the undercurrent for Chris. And I take so much issue with this conversation.
How do you even know he's a pushover? You just met him. You don't even really know.
Her issue is that she doesn't want to feel like he's just doing things to appease her. Which is
marriage.
Which is
this is also like immature.
And it's I don't know if
Like,
it's
what?
immature or
I think it's
it's a
immature.
lack of experience. And you could tell when people have had not so healthy relationships, because I genuinely don't even believe you're supposed to tell me no. Like, I don't think there's any
It's a true story.
I really do not believe that. I feel like, do I tell you no? Like, I'm going to figure out a way to
Yes.
make every... It's funny. I said this line in my head, right? This is no bullshit. And I thought, he's going to say yes. Because then I start thinking the times I've told you no.
Absolutely. Like,
I only tell
she's
you...
going to tell me no in like 30 minutes when we get off here, and she asks me what I want to eat. And when I tell her, she's going to say no.
But you know what I mean.
I'm answering.
But I don't think that... I think being a pushover... I think what I'm getting at is that we had this idea that men are supposed to... Hush it up, girl. We doing this tonight. You know what I mean? And I'm like...
Nah, hush it up. Are you in the 80s?
I just watched...
Hush it up, girl.
I just watched Hollywood Shuffle, y'all. Forgive me.
The references.
But in real life...
Look at me, Job Turkey. Like, what are you watching, bro?
Good.
But if you didn't know Zar and you just met her, you would think she was born in the 70s.
I know. I love
all her
it.
references. You'd be like, what are you talking about? And then she'll be like, you ain't watched that movie? And you'd be like, no, I was 5.
He right.
I was 2 when it came out.
He right. The truth of the matter is, I date Joe because I love Eddie Murphy, Circa Boomerang, and Harlem Nights. Let me tell you something. The moment me and Joe started dating, I'm like, oh my God. Because Joe only had, back in the day, you only had the, you had a fresh face. Damn,
Yeah.
It's been a while. You had a fresh face, and then you moved in to have just the mustache.
Yeah, that was my first.
Baby, talk about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy from Boomerang. Let me tell you something. You can't tell me nothing. Mind you, I don't even think, I'm not going to age myself. I ain't going to tell y'all. The point is that I thought, I do have these very odd references, and it's very weird. It is. But what I'm getting at is that when I hear women talk about these things, I'm always like, well, you just might need somebody to check you. Check me. Like, what are y'all
That's immaturity, too.
What are you talking about?
To me.
You better never, ever in your life think that is an option. Like, what? Like, I think that there's a place for discourse, and there's times where you might need to, go back and forth with your spouse. Mm-hmm. But there's no world where I think it's okay for you to check me.
Yeah, and it's just like, I think I'm gonna try to give some of y'all grace when y'all say this. I'm thinking you guys really mean accountability. I'm thinking you mean you want somebody to hold you accountable. I don't know.
Said nobody ever.
I don't.
But I get what you're trying to give the benefit
because
of the doubt.
I just can't imagine, because we've heard that a lot.
I mean,
whether it's on TV or in regular.
I'm like, you're an adult. Check yourself.
Right. Whether it's on TV or in everyday life, and when I hear it, I just think, well, where is the self-reflection? Like, you can't just know, like, hey, maybe I need to do this, or maybe I need to pivot and adjust in this way. And so I'm hoping that that's what y'all mean. Like, y'all just want to be held accountable, but we really got to let this thing go where we need some, especially in this space where Nicole is just talking about not being a self-saboteur. That's all she's talking about.
It is so.
You need somebody to stop you from self-sabotaging your marriage? Well, how did we get here?
I just want him not to do, and her thing is like, I want him to not. I don't want him to do things that is going against what he wants to do. But the truth of the matter is, you should feel like silk. Like, you should be in a space with a man. I remember my cousins, every time we used to go out, they used to pay. And I'm like, why? Y'all don't have to pay every time we go out. But they just told me straight up, like, you should always feel like you're in the presence of gentlemen. Like, period. This is my cousin, this is family. And I feel that way for all women. I feel like, I don't think it's not about him being a pushover. I think you should feel like silk. Don't y'all play chess? The king's only job is to protect the queen. To treat me like, y'all don't know the story of Cleopatra. Like, you should feel like absolutely everything in the world revolves around you when you with somebody who love you.
But the mature part of marriage to me is doing things for your spouse, regardless of how it makes you feel or whether you want to do it or not.
Especially when it don't cost you nothing.
That's at the heart of this to me. So I feel like this is immaturity to me. Because
don't call it immature. It is. It is lack of experience.
No, it is immature because I think that I'm going to tell you why it's absolutely immature.
Okay.
Because the mature part of even adulting, when people say the word adulting, what are they talking about? They're talking about getting up and doing the things that you just physically don't want to do, but you know need to be done. That's maturity. That's the only difference from teenage and young adult is that part of maturity. When you're teenage, you just like, I don't want to eat vegetables, so I just won't do it. Right? But when you're young adult, you go, I don't want to eat vegetables, but I'm going to do it because I know it needs to be done. Whether I like it or not, I'm going to do it because I know it needs to be done. Right? So this part of maturity carries on into parenting, into marriage, where the part of walking into true maturity in those aspects of life is just realizing that you will absolutely do things that you personally do not want to do. That's the adulting part of marriage.
But I don't think it has to be. I think it's less what you don't want to do and more. And I don't.
That's just a part of it. That's just a part of it.
Because that sounds like negative to me, and I don't know, you're not saying it.
No, I'm not saying
that sounds negative.
I'm saying that's an aspect of it. It might be to do something just to make your spouse happy. It might be to do something. It's like the saying of, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?" Right? Right. Like that's maturity to me. To understand that quote by itself is maturity. Right? The only people that I've had conversations with and they didn't understand that quote was because they were immature. They hadn't gotten to that point yet in their lives. Right? So to understand that quote is to understand what that level of maturity looks like in relationship. It doesn't matter whether I like to do X, Y, and Z. I'm doing it because it's better for the greater good of my house, of my relationship, for my spouse. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to pay taxes. Right. I'm doing it so I don't go to jail. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think that's not a very good analogy, only because that's negative. Like I think
what do you mean?
I think the idea of
doing it for your spouse is not a negative thing. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but I'm saying taxes is a
well, forget it's a man.
That's what I'm saying. That particular analogy I don't think is a great one, but I do think that
but sometimes you might look at it that way. That's what I'm saying. Like that's a realistic thing. That's what I mean by maturity.
It's realistic.
It's completely, again, it's not.
It's semantics.
It's not because it's completely unrealistic to think that you will never do things for your spouse that you just literally don't want to do. Right? That's not realistic, and it's okay. That's my point. All of this, there's a spectrum. Is what I'm saying. Some of the spectrum is just simply doing it because you know it's going to make them happy, and that just might not be a favor of yours, right? Mm-hmm. I might just go to a show with my spouse, not like you. We just talked about the other week, right? You might go to a show that I'm asking you to go to, not because you want to go watch me play with some people you never heard of, but because you just want to support your spouse, right? And it could be something that you just vehemently don't want to do. You just want to support your spouse. There's a spectrum. And to me, I'm saying that sometimes it is negative in your brain where you're like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's okay. That's maturity to me.
Okay. Sorry. Let's talk about Shaquille and Kirsten. Shaquille and Kirsten. So they were the only couple who actually asked two married couples to come to their housewarming, which I thought was a brilliant idea. And I feel like it's good that they're surrounding themselves with people who are like in love and everything like that.
1,000%. You should surround yourself with the people who are like-minded and the people who are already in the space where you want to be in. Birds of a feather flock together. Especially because they're so brand new. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, you get to a point and it's just you and you got it's 8, 9 of y'all, and one of them is like not married. We all got.
Yeah. But you know, there's a reason why when you become, even before marriage, when you get in a relationship, some of your single friends become a bit estranged.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Because you can't, like we had a situation where she had a good girlfriend who she loves, but she's in a completely different and been in a completely different space than her. When she would go out, she want to be choosy. Like, she want to be chosen. She want to go to the club. She want to be in all the, and Zar was just like, I love her, but that's just not where I'm at. So we just don't hang out as much because I'm in a different space. That's just a casualty. You know what I mean? It's a reality.
I get the energy. It's just now the energy is exhausting. Like, I'm like, this is exhausting.
But now you don't even share the energy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not a thing of we can't. You're not really interested in the spaces that I really want to be.
Right.
So that's why I love that they did this, because they were setting themselves up to build this. Like, we talk about our love bubble. They were setting themselves up to build their own love bubble. Our love bubble is full of people who are in relationships, single, married or not. Yeah. They're in relationships. They love their spouse. Long-term relationships, new relationships, married. Like, it's a lot of that in our bubble, because that's where we are. We're married. But even before we was married, we lived in this love bubble space. You know what I mean? So yeah. So we surround ourselves with these couples a lot. Even when it was unintentional. You know what I mean?
With couples. Yeah. That's true. I was thinking about. Never mind. I'll tell you later. No, I agree, but I did appreciate that they spoke with each other. You know, the truth of the matter is, as much as I have admiration for Shaquille and Kirsten, they didn't give us a goddamn thing this episode. So.
Well, they really won't. They don't like. She doesn't like him, and
you really think that?
I almost would bet on it. She does not like him, and she is just kind of here so she won't get fined. Somebody made a good point, comparing her from a season ago, where Jasmina just was like, I don't want to leave. It's like, I'm gonna just stick around, do my part, smile in his face, you know. But we could tell you, like, you're really not into this guy, and you give him dust.
But she said, I don't like to kiss
because I'm a bad kisser, and I'm glad that Twitter saw her coming and called BS.
She would say
like,
something.
Girl, stop.
Why she looks way smarter than that,
but this is what I mean. This is what I mean when I compare her to Jasmina from a season ago. It's these little nuggets of red flags. When it was her, when she said, well, you know, I only didn't kiss him because he didn't ask me to kiss him.
What?
No, that's not we don't believe
then he asked you.
Then he asked you and you said no, right? Now it's why we don't kiss because I'm a bad kisser. Like, come on. We see through this BS.
Maybe he got a dead tooth.
The reality of it is she is trying to finesse this and make it through without making herself look bad. And so far, she's doing a good job of it, because it doesn't happen in big events. It's just little stuff here and there that leaks out during conversation with him or with other people, where you're like, that doesn't make sense. And we see through it. I'm glad that more people are seeing through it.
It's just really, maybe that's why she might be trying intentionally to be cryptic with us.
I think she is.
Like, I can't give too much. Yeah. And she an Aquarius. They are very much, if they don't like you, you either know it or you don't. And if you don't, then you don't. That's just like, for real. Yeah. They're very, to us, it's like, air sign, No, but to them, they like, I knew what it was in the beginning. I didn't like you. I already said I didn't like you. What more do you want from me? Oh, we're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, she's a BS.
Neil, he all rubbing on. But you know what, though? I was thinking, I get why she don't like bald-headed men. Her cousin man is bald-headed. The balls look the same. Okay.
They could be related a little bit.
Okay, so last but not least, let's talk about the group, I guess, brunch. Because everybody had like donuts and muffins. Must have been the morning time.
I don't know what it was, but it looked
They had
terrible.
an early call time.
It didn't look good.
It did look a little dry.
Yeah.
If you're going to bring fruit, bring a couple cheeses.
It looked very Hotel Continental E.
And they even doing better than, you know, the hotel we stayed at in LA, they was cooking up some scrambled eggs.
I bet. Sometimes I went to one joint, they had grits and all that. Like, it was good.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, that's the best show got, but yeah. I get it. Okay. So they all sit down and everybody's there, and they're like, "Where's Mac and Dom? Where's Mac and Dom?"
Like y'all
that was
care.
a reenactment. That was a reenactment. And Nicole says, "This is when Nicole put the nail in the coffin for me." Nicole says, "Oh, I didn't call them. Like, I'm not sure where they're at because I didn't check in or send a text. I just was like."
Nicole really just gotta be the center of attention.
Then she gives a toast, y'all. I would like to thank you all. Like, why are you thinking everybody? Was this not a call time that you all had to show up to?
I don't know. But she needs to, I really need her to take a step back. Focus on your man.
And that's it, and that's all.
Please.
Because you wanting to be out here and be everything to everybody is exhausting me.
It is.
It's exhausting me. And the truth is, Chris is tired.
Yeah, he got it.
Truth is, I'm tired.
No.
For real. Like, enough is enough. But I'm just tired of her. Like, I don't want to say I'm tired of her.
I'm a little over her. I ain't gonna lie.
It's the incessant need to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
That I find cheap.
Yeah.
Okay? It's cheap.
Yeah. I want her to just relax and focus on her man.
Your mouth is getting you places your personality wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's mean. I apologize, y'all. I'm a little uninhibited right now.
It's real. It's not.
That's a little bit mean, so I apologize for real.
Really.
But I do think she is a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
In a box. Okay? Just blowing up the place.
Right.
Right?
No, for real.
For real. So, I don't know. So, they all get there. They sit there and they chat or whatever. Matt come in with a Colt 45, a pack of Newports, smoking them down to the filter, talking about who's screwing.
Yeah, like,
I was like,
which I maybe that was him trying to deflect a little bit longer. I mean, you had to know they was gonna get to the point where you tell them that y'all getting a divorce. So,
or he ain't give a damn,
or he didn't care, or they asked him to say that.
They did. They absolutely did.
Also,
because
we don't
even
care.
the way he said it, we do not care. Like,
we don't care. Trust me, none of y'all are not aesthetically pleasing enough for any of us to really be thinking about whether or not y'all screwing or not. That's just.
Do y'all think about that?
We do not care.
Sometimes I meet people and I think, they are having boring sex.
I think about that. It's weird. I think about when I think a couple is having boring sex. But
do you think people look at us and think we having boring sex?
Oh, I don't know. No. Boring? No, I don't think so. But I do think that's the only part that I think about. My mind only goes there.
Oh, but you ain't thinking about them hunching.
No,
that's how I am. I'm not thinking about you hunching, but I am thinking about that don't look like it's good.
It's weird. I agree.
It's funny. I was not too long ago. We met some new people a while ago. And I was like, that don't look good. But sometimes I think that. But I would never ask them. And sometimes it comes up in conversation where we being funny, like, I initiated sex last night or something like that.
Yeah.
But nothing where who's screwing?
No.
Excuse me?
That's too no.
But Jasmine is so tired of Eris saying he is unattracted to her. You would think Eris is fine as hell.
But Eris,
annoying.
I think more so she's tired of the group talking about it. Because Eris, unlike what's her name? That
Kirsten?
No. Gina. Eris, unlike Gina, doesn't bring it up. He doesn't initiate these conversations, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm tired of the group talking about it. Why we got it? It's 6 of us, however many people it is. And the only thing we talk about is who's attracted or not attracted to who. That's weird.
Or who's screwing or who ain't.
Yeah, or who's having sex. We don't. Y'all just met each other. Y'all just came from a honeymoon. Like, there's not more conversation. It's not more things to talk about. Y'all have
Quite
a lot.
literally.
Y'all don't even know each other. So
that's a good point.
There's plenty of things to talk about other than who's having sex and who's attracted to who.
That is a good point.
Like, how about each other's middle names?
Hello. What is your credit score? Do you get paid weekly or bi-weekly? You know what I mean?
There has to be more things to talk about.
There's got to be. That is such a good point. It's just really whack. And what really came to be more whack was Dominique when she tried to explain why her and Mac decided to get a divorce. And he came through like the Kool-Aid man.
I'm glad.
Kicked the door in like,
I'm glad.
I was 100% blindsided. And I appreciated all of it.
Yeah.
Because she's a liar.
She's a bold-faced liar.
She's a liar.
Pathological liar.
And you can tell, like, if you're not in the room with her to affirm.
Oh, she gonna say anything. It's funny, somebody said on Twitter, which I thought was a brilliant tweet. He said, it's funny how everything that she says he does happens to happen off camera. No one's ever seen it. He said this, he did this, he's always doing this. Y'all don't see it, though. But come on, y'all.
If I would, and this is how I know it's a lie. When she came on the after show, she already knew what the topic was going to be. Because
for sure.
Right? She knew which order she was in, right?
Yeah.
If he said something that you thought was inappropriate, you wouldn't have been like, look at this. This is what he wrote to me the day before.
Yep.
It's all here.
Yep.
You could just...
She's a liar. She just lied.
She's a liar.
She's a liar.
And it was so scary because she lied straight to her mother's face.
She sure
then
did.
got in this group of adults. And I'm so glad, although Nicole talked too goddamn much.
She did.
But when mother said, you're going to regret this. And not regret it from a space of you maybe not meet your, the person
Being with him. Yeah.
Right. There is something, it's just not seeing it through
right.
is what you're going to regret.
Right.
You made a commitment you made a commitment to yourself first to go through a process like this. And you didn't see that through. Or maybe it was your mother. Or maybe this is the problem. You should have never had somebody who didn't fill out the application and got themselves on the show.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that all you had to do was see it through for you. Who knows what you yourself would have learned. But you think that you are so above it that there is nothing for you to learn. And now you're being age shamed.
Oh,
you're immature.
Now she being aged. She's always the victim.
It is crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. But you know what? I'm gonna say I'm gonna disagree with Nicole.
I told myself I wasn't gonna do that.
But I'm gonna disagree with Nicole because I don't think she's gonna regret it. Because I think to regret it takes introspective. To regret it takes some type of maturity and self-reflection that she clearly does not have. She's gonna walk away from this thinking all of y'all are the problem. The same way she did when she sat in front of him in the kitchen after the group thing and thought
terrible human.
It was everybody else. Well, yeah, they just pressured
terrible
me. I just
human.
thought everybody was rude. I didn't appreciate it. It's always everybody
it's like
else's
they're not
fault.
Listening to
and
me.
That's why she's not going to regret it.
You are
She's a kid.
It almost feels like it's against the law to have you on this show.
Yeah, she shouldn't be on this show.
I'm so glad we're done with her.
I hope we're done with her. Because they like to bring people.
Have a clip, didn't they?
They like to bring people back and have conversations. We don't want to. And I'm so glad that I'm seeing in the social media space a groundswell of people who are adamantly opposed to seeing her again in any capacity. Because somebody said, you know what? This show is called Married at First Sight, Not Single and Just Hanging. Once you get a divorce, leave the set, please. Do not come back. We do not need to follow. We don't care what she's doing in her single life.
And the truth of
we don't care.
I do not care. And the truth of the matter is, I want the producers, y'all could take this thought with y'all. I literally want y'all to put in their contract that the moment, if it's not there already, the moment
you say I'm leaving,
you only get one more check after that.
You're done.
You're done. You don't get to come back and film this and film that. You don't get to do it. Kick rocks.
Yeah, please. I felt like I didn't even want to. I felt like there was no point in even seeing her explain the situation to her.
Joe, 15 days. In 15 days, she knew that she wanted to get a divorce from it. 15 days.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't need to see her anymore. Like I don't want to see her talking to her mom. I don't want to see her talking to one of the other girls on the show. We don't care. Let her go. We do not care. Please. And I feel like talking about production ideas, what y'all should do is when this, because this is the second year that y'all having, so y'all got to wear this egg. This is the second year that we've had an Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
So in a row. So I feel like what you should start implementing is when we get these piss poor bad apples on the show who eject themselves from the process, allow these people who are wrong to go through the process with somebody else. Because it's too early on. They just moving into their house, right? They don't even know which key to put into the door when they get in yet, right? So allow these people to be paired again, because they go through these.
You can't do that because they just. The only reason
they go through these extensive processes. I mean, they go through this extensive process of getting on the show, casting and interviews and all of this stuff, only to be paired with a piss poor person who leaves in week 1. You mean to tell me I went through all of this? And now I gotta just
for this funky dog headed. And why is it women? It's women.
2 in a row. It's just not fair. What I'm saying is, it wasn't fair to Chris last season, and it's not fair to Mac this season. So I feel like especially because
it's not fair to Mac.
Remember with Chris, it happened before they even got home. He hadn't even left the honeymoon before he realized that he was a single man. So imagine being so early in the process that you were still committed to and not being able to live it out because of their piss poor casting mistake.
But who is watching this and thinking that we want to see people not be together? We literally watched 90 Day Fiance, where Ed with no neck is paired with a woman 17 years younger than him, and we watch it. I don't know why, like, you know what I mean? And we want Ed to be there with somebody.
Yeah.
So for me, the goal is not for us to have this drama where somebody walks away.
Right.
We want to see the progression of marriage. We want to see people say, if you take the pressure out of dating and getting to know and all this other BS, and you just say you're going to start on home, what would they do with that? The foundation is already kind of set for y'all, because what's clear is that you both want to be married. Yeah. So now all we can do is build up.
Yeah.
In my mind.
You're right. I just think that they owe these people. Because you got to think too, in preparation for this show, these people have taken time off of work. Some of these people, this is time that they can't get back. Some of these people have left opportunities on the table. I feel so bad
for Matt.
They owe these people.
Matt could have got really paired with somebody dope.
You owe Matt another wife. That's what you owe. I mean, Mac.
Like, and get this funky dog here. Then they gonna say, "Well, knowing what we know now, we wouldn't have pressured you." I hate flip flopping ass bitches.
This is my problem. This is my problem with the after party. Like, even Keisha does it, where they get into the after party and it's this like everybody got on kid gloves and nobody is saying what they really think.
But that's why it'll never be Watch What Happens Live. So you don't watch What Happens Live, but the producer of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Andy Cohen, hosts it. And he be digging in. It be really uncomfortable. Like, sometimes you're watching it and you like, he's like going in like, well, she said you was a bad mother. And you did do this. How do you feel about that? And it's like, we need people to ask those questions.
And be real. Like,
and be real.
When she said what she said,
it doesn't look good.
When she said what Keisha asked her, do you think that you actually gave this a chance or something like that? And she said, yeah, I thought I was very patient and I thought I was. And Keisha, knowing Keisha doesn't believe her, we can see it all over her face. She goes, okay.
I can understand that.
Literally, and just moves on. That's not why we watch the show, y'all. That's not why we watch the after party.
I almost want y'all to get a job to the bull.
Kevin. Yeah. Bring Kevin back.
Because he would kill it.
Because he wouldn't allow that.
Week to week, he would get... Why he don't do it?
They probably can't afford Kevin. Not every week. They got him one episode a year. In the reality.
Because he really should do it.
Yeah, he should.
And I hate to see Keisha out of a job, but with all due respect, it's not fun to watch.
It's not. Because especially if you're going to do this this passive thing with these people, and we know that you don't, but like she wouldn't have asked a question like she did. And even rebutting whatever she said in the first place, she wouldn't have rebutted with that question if she didn't think that this girl was full of crap.
But did you hear her try to make Pastor Cow the issue? Well, we probably wouldn't even have gotten a divorce. I probably wouldn't even have said I wanted a divorce. He just kept asking me.
Everybody's to blame, and Keisha just let her say this stuff.
It is so. I just don't know many 25-year-olds. That's all this comes down to. I can't even imagine this conversation.
Well, y'all should know better than to pair a 25-year-old on this show. We don't need.
Y'all should know better.
It's too many 30-something years old looking for marriage for y'all to be like, let's get to 25. Like
at least 28, 29.
Let's just stay away from it. It's too many. It's too many. They get thousands of applicants every year. There's no need. We don't need. There's going to be enough drama in everybody's marriage for you to go pluck some kid out of a bar and then throw them into Married at First Sight. We just don't need it.
I'm tired. Truth is, I'm tired. I'm so tired of her, and I'm so glad she going. It is not even funny. I'm so glad she going. So, I guess shout out to Mac. We sorry, baby, it didn't work out. Screw her.
Yeah, be free.
Be free. We're done. I got to figure out something to eat. I think. I don't know how I feel right now. I'm Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband Joseph. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and taking your time with me tonight. It's been hard, y'all. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Subscribe to this Mimi Tam channel, and we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Bye.